Breaking story, Nidhi.
Sonia, thanks very much. And we have the leaders from the two parties that are slugging it out at the moment. We have Abhishek Singhvi, the spokesperson of the Congress party, here with us in the studio. And just back from a meeting with the president is former Law Minister and senior BJP MP Ravi Shankar Prasad, who joins us from his residence in Delhi. First of all, Dr. Singhvi, let me ask you, are we actually going to see this ordinance go through? Is this what the government is planning?
That's a question which only the government can answer. It's a question which only the government knows about. I cannot possibly, speaking for the party, say anything on this. There has been no official announcement. There has been no unofficial indication. It is entirely within the government's jurisdiction to do so. But if it will do so at all, and if so, when, how, what scope, what nature, this is completely speculative, I think.
Why was Parliament adjourned the way that it was today?
Well, Parliament has completed its business and it's within the rights of both the parliamentary procedure, those who run Parliament and the government to adjourn its Senate.
All of a sudden? Senate, there were 10 more days left in this session, there was going to be a recess.
The work of Parliament for this particular set of days had ended, and in any case it was going to be adjourned. It is adjourned.
For a recess, it was going to come back for 10 days.
It was being put into recess. It's now gone into a Senate adjournment. So now, in case you don't question the power to do so, then to read motives into it at this stage, the point is a little different.
You would read motives into it because it seems highly to have happened at a highly inappropriate time, when we know, certainly from the people we've spoken to, that this ordinance is very much being discussed by the government. It's not a coincidence, it seems then, that the House was adjourned sine die.
Let me answer your question by putting a question. Do we all agree that on the assumption that the government wants to do it, it has the power to pass an ordinance even in respect of offices of profit? The answer is yes. The article of the Constitution 102 gives that power. If the government has that power, and the government also has the power to adjourn Parliament Senate die, then how does the timing matter? If it wants to do so, it can do so tomorrow, it can do so any time. The government has the power to pass an ordinance if it chooses to do so.
Okay, so you're not being apologetic about that, which then brings us to the next question.
Yes.
Is this really all about saving Sonia Gandhi at the end of the day, at a time when Jaya Bachchan has got herself into trouble, Amar Singh could find himself under trouble, Sonia Gandhi's appeal against her post as chairperson is lying with the president. So is this all about her?
There is no question. The word saving Sonia Gandhi is completely wrong and erroneous for three reasons. Number one, Mrs. Jaya Bachchan's case is unique. It's a case where a complaint was filed, a reasoned decision was given by a high constitutional body, the Election Commission. No such decision has been given by anybody in any other case. Number two, the article of the Constitution is very clear. One of the allegations is that Mrs. Gandhi holds a cabinet rank. Now, people who say that don't know the Constitution. They have not read Article 102. 102 has a clear explanation provision which says that mere holding of ministership is not a disqualification under the Office of Profit rule. Number three, most important, NAC by no stretch of imagination is an office under the government or of the government. The NAC is not legislative, it is not executive, it is not judicial, it has only recommendatory advisory powers.
Then why seek the ordinance at all?
Well, that's the point. I am saying, how do you assume? First of all, there is no ordinance today. Number two, we do not know where the ordinance is coming. Number three, how do you know that the ordinance will say this, that or the other? We don't know the content. Number four, how do you know that the ordinance is about Mrs. Gandhi? This is the whole point of it. This is nothing but the opposition creating a chimera. We have to, in the event that the government exercises its legitimate power, we have to see what the ordinance is about.
Mr. Prasad, is it all a fuss about nothing as the Congress claims?
Sonia, let me first of all congratulate my friend Manu. He is coming in my house and then he will know a little more facts of which he is as of now not in the knowledge. On the 8th of March, a notification was issued by the Bulletin of the Parliament, whereby the session was only to be adjourned for today, and the next leg was to start from 10th of May till 23rd of May. This was issued after consultation with all the political parties. We had no problem there. Today the House has been adjourned sine die. Has been adjourned sine die means that now they have got the liberty to come with an ordinance. Therefore, we were opposing right from the morning. The government suddenly learned, and I have my respectful disagreement with the understanding of Mr. Manu Singhvi. The NAC clearly says Mrs. Gandhi will enjoy the rank and status of a minister. Article 102 saves only those who are ministers per se, leader of opposition, but not those who hold the rank and status of a minister. Therefore, I have seen the notification. Therefore, she clearly comes under cloud of disqualification. Therefore, all this hullabaloo. And they are coming with ordinance. And let me remind my friend Mr. Singhvi that this afternoon 2 senior leaders were propped up by senior ministers of the government to have a conference on this ordinance. Therefore, it is not hanky-panky, it is not speculative, and therefore, in utter disregard of parliamentary norms and convention, this house was adjourned sine die, so that they can come with an ordinance. One. Second, Sonia, it is very important that in the case of Jaya Bachchan, the Mulayam government came with a bill properly passed by both of the houses of UP legislature. The governor declined to give assent because it was having retrospective application. If they have to save Sonia Gandhi, they will come with retrospective application.
Let me ask you very quickly, Mr. Prasad, why didn't you bring up this issue in the beginning? I mean, she's been NAC chairperson for nearly 2 years now. Is this all about politics at the end of the day? Because you saw what happened to Jaya Bachchan, and this is a way for you to get back at the Congress and Sonia Gandhi. Why now?
Well, first of all, they have not done their homework when they appointed her. Her role is not only advisory, she is the super prime minister, A. And to give a legit, proper legal cover, this whole NSC was made. The second point is, yes, why not? If a standard has been set in the case of Jaya Bachchan, all right, fair enough, let Mrs. Gandhi also be tested on that anvil, and therefore to save her, this whole business of hurried ordinance is being done by the Congress party.
We just have 20 seconds.
Well, 20 seconds is too short, but let us leave it to people to judge who has not done their homework. Number one, I find it very strange that a minister is protected under Article 102, but a person who is given a rank of a cabinet minister is not protected. This is ingenious, self-serving legal interpretation by my friend Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad. It is certainly not the interpretation which will be acceptable anywhere.
Well,
Number two,
you're both eminent lawyers, you can argue that.
The NAC does not do any allocation of funds, does not distribute any funds. It makes advice and suggestion and recommendation regarding the implementation of the common minimum program.
Very simply, let me ask you, if the government was to bring in an ordinance on this tomorrow, you're saying that you're not going to be apologetic about it because the government is within its right to do so.
Of course, number one, if you yourself said if, so we don't know the nature of the ordinance. Number two, the government has the absolute power to bring in the ordinance. There is no question about it. The article of the Constitution, several articles of the Constitution, established practice gives the power to the government.
Why not?
We are all talking of speculation.
Why not let Parliament reconvene again and do it then? Why do it through an ordinance like this?
Well, Parliament ordinances are used all the time, and ordinance is not for all times
you
to
just
come.
had to wait another month or so.
But what about after an ordinance? The ordinance has to lapse when Parliament
You
meets
just
again.
had to wait
the
another
ordinance
month
has to
or
continue.
so.
If we were chary, if we were scared of parliamentary approval, let me ask Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad a simple question. An ordinance passed when Parliament is not sitting will have to be ultimately converted into an act?
After 6 months.
Not necessarily. There will be an. So let's assume after 6 months.
So why couldn't you wait another month?
No, but let me ask that question. What will change after, if we were avoiding Parliament, how will Mrs. Gandhi's position be secured by an ordinance which lapses after 6 months?
All right,
it will have to go to parliamentary approval then.
I'm afraid.
So why is he making this? They are doing it only to create an ambience. Mrs. Gandhi will have to, if this ordinance deals with that, or the subject matter of the ordinance will have to be ratified by Parliament after 6 months also. So it's not a permanent escape route. How can it be an escape route?
All right, Ravi Shankar Prasad, Abhishek Singhvi, we have to leave it at that. Sonia, whatever the Congress may want us to believe about this ordinance, we do know from our sources in the government that this is something the government is seriously thinking about, and it's really no coincidence that Parliament was adjourned sine die today the way that it was.
Right, Nidhi. Well, Sonia, clearly an interesting name to have now from Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad to Abhishek Singhvi. It's all about saving Sonia Gandhi. Well, coming up next.